All right, I think this shot looks okay. It's a bit maybe too perfectly straight and centered, and I feel like you kind of crop this a little bit low where we're just seeing the top edge of that stage. It might be nice to see a bit more
Okay, so
instead of
do you
having
want
like a
me
really
to
thin
crop it
slice of it in there.
for you?
I like this one better, but again, I wouldn't stick to the perfectly symmetrical straight on shot and try to do stuff at a bit more of an angle. I think this one's a bit more interesting, although I might try to have the camera a little bit. Well, I
Outside.
mean, depending on the action, this could be a good shot. Like what's happening with the hoop and the character, I could see if you need this space, it could be good. If you don't need this space, it might be interesting to get the camera a little lower. Let's take a look in Maya.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is looking okay. You've got, I think a decent ground texture here. This is interesting. It's maybe a bit too perfect. Might be good to, I don't know, just have paint in some imperfections and kind of. Is this a painted texture or is this what is this? Oh yeah, it's just a texture. So just maybe a little bit of dirt, maybe some dust. If this is kind of a dusty kind of ground, maybe along the bottom edge there, it shows a
Yeah.
little dirt. It's not so perfect. And also maybe
No,
bevel the
not
edges
really.
on this so it's not quite so, because I would probably have it smooth, but you don't want it rounded like that. So I'd probably take these edges, and maybe even this one too,
I'm not. Maybe
and
here.
then bevel, Control B for bevel, and then make that much smaller, and then add a couple segments in there,
Yeah.
and then you can, smooth preview it, and it just looks a little nicer. And you can do the same with
Yay,
these
finally.
guys. Actually, you probably don't need so many subdivisions on there, but whatever. And as far as
You're
this, yeah,
finding
it's a
him?
bit like that. Looks like
Okay, take
some of
your
these don't
time,
look like they're
sweetie.
textured at all. This is a bit weird why you've got all this extra geometry there and there. Maybe just to get rounded there, but you end up with, these many-sided faces. I would also bevel these edges as well, these inside ones, and, just like I did for the other thing.
Four, zero,
I think
one.
that's okay. I might actually model a curtain there rather than just using a plane. It wouldn't be hard to do. I'd probably just draw a curve on top, that's curvy, and then duplicate it, move to the bottom, and do a loft
10,
between the two,
10. I
surfaces
got
loft.
you.
Um,
I gave you 20 seconds behind.
this might be better as geometry. Yeah, so I think, and what's the texture going on here? That looks kind of weird. I didn't even
Use
realize in your
clear
other shots
water
that those
or
were
bleach.
chairs. I would actually rather,
Are
see,
you in a tree or what?
because you only have to model one chair and you can keep it pretty simple. I'd rather actually see the geometry of the
Give me
chairs going
5.
off there than this image, which I think is just
Okay.
it looks a little funny. It doesn't look very believable. So yeah, some chairs geometry would be good. Some more work on the textures for the things that are missing in texture entirely, like this and this.
Alright,
And
you
something
guys
like this
never
could
know
use
what
more detail on the
really
texture. For
happens.
example, again, maybe a little dust and dirt at the bottom. Also, model-wise, maybe beveling the
Are
corners
you
of
inside
things
or
to improve
outside?
it. So yeah, there's some areas for improvement. I think overall the idea is working.